Yannick says, I know there's probably mixed feelings about the MSP investment, but I think he means really hope this goes through. Even if it's just an ownership stake that does not include a cash injection in the club, gives us more accountability at the top with experienced sporting professionals. This current lot is mismanaged regardless of the amount of money involved.
What would be the misgivings? What are the misgivings of the situation? Why are people worried about the MSP? I mean, this is something maybe you and John can talk about. But what are the worries for people with this investment? Are they worried that it might stop a full takeover? If you know.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, to be fair, because obviously they'd have a seat. They'd own a portion of it, wouldn't they? But wouldn't they want to potentially get involved in that?
Well, that's what they do, though. From reading stuff about this company, not massively, this is an investment company that get involved in things that they think they can get in. They think they can take a small percentage of, let's say 15%. Then they can get people into the club
to buy it.
No.
Oh, okay.
To basically improve it, so that their 15% becomes worth a lot more.
And that's what we all want, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and I think that's what a lot of these things do. And
but also, because the VC group, aren't they? They may bring other people in to buy it overall, might.
I think what people I think we've spoken about this earlier. It's like, what do people think you're going to get nowadays? If your football club is owned by anybody, I'm not sitting here going they're not gonna like love it or whatever. I mean, you can have people. You look at the people who own City, right? So obviously City have had all the trouble. They're in trouble. Well, it's all out there now. But the fella who runs City, he doesn't sound like he does put all that stuff to one side. Everything they do is amazing. Like they do everything so well. Like the Etihad campus is amazing. Like the stuff they've done for the women's team is amazing. The way the way the Etihad itself is now is amazing. The way they do their own documentaries is amazing. The way they talk to people and do interviews and everything is absolute top notch. They have not sat there and just gone money. They have just built this whole thing, and okay. Have they cut corners in a manner? Well, he might have had to because of FFP, and to get to where they want to get to. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like, when you look at the charge sheet, they didn't bribe anyone.
No.
They didn't give anyone injections. They didn't have inhalers. They didn't. The rules they broke are the rules that you go. White collar crime, that innit? It's not. It's
financial doping, as they say, isn't it? That's what they're saying.
Yeah, and I understand that that's there too. And I'm not saying FFP is a good thing or a bad thing, but what I'm saying is they haven't got 12 players on the pitch. Oh. They've done
still won stuff.
They've still won stuff. They've spent their money. So it is cheating. I appreciate that. And we all know. Because they're the richest people. Now, what's going to happen now is you're going to have Newcastle, you're going to have Man United, you're going to have Liverpool eventually. These are going to be bought out by similar people. You've got Big Ted there at Chelsea doing something similar. People are starting going, how are these doing this? How have they spent all that money? So it's going to go on. It's going to go on more and more and more. And what it's going to push is the Premier League is essentially a Super League now of its own making, and we're all going to need that sugar daddy, but that sugar daddy has to. This is what we found out. You can't just have a sugar daddy in the Premier League now. You have to have a sugar daddy who can do things correctly because of FFP.
Well,
and that's what's really interesting is that whoever buys us, they're gonna have to come in and go, right, well, we're gonna have to make this club profitable. Even if you sit there and go, I'm a bit worried about these. These are going to take this club to bits and they're going to take loads of money out of us. Like, they have to make it profitable first, which means doing things correctly. And with a club like Everton, you have to make Everton a profitable club, you have to get it right.
I think Gary Neville was saying that thing last night about, he said, I don't like FFP because it stops people. It allows the biggest clubs to stay. And he's saying, I'm saying this as a Man United fan. He said, but also as an owner of another football club, that you can't have a situation where it just protects those top clubs. So they get all the money because they're already got the leg up on everyone. They earn more than anyone else, so no one can catch up. So what's the point of that? So really, there's got to be a way around it that is fairer for everybody, and that might simply just be you only kind of spend what you earn.
Salary cap, for me,
won't do a salary cap, but
you can't.
No, I agree. But what he was saying was, you spend what you. He obviously knows spend what you earn, but it can't be through sponsorship and stuff. It's literally stuff that comes in. Or
I still don't think that would work, because big clubs will always earn more money than little clubs, and our little club's going to ever close the gap. That's not what football is.
Or there can be that plus that. And
the simple fact is,
there has to be stuff in place so Newcastle can't go, we'll drop $1 billion this summer on players.
But then Newcastle would say, like, if we were Newcastle, all right, they might be different, but they'll go, well, these people have already got an unfair advantage on us, because these clubs have been going in the Champions League for years and have been taking all that money. So how are we ever going to close that gap without spending money that we have? And that would be the same. That's sort of like the same argument we tried to do.
But we just got bombed.
But we bombed but we had the money before FFP, and that was the problem. And so it's that thing of, like, there's no real.
2015 it came in.
I know, but it never sort of.
No, we didn't
play within the rules of it.
Well, we did. This is the reason why we are. Because we did. That was the whole point of it. We had that one opportunity. What it was Bill Kenwright, because he, just by the sheer nature of the fella, in terms of not having excess money, Everton had a little bit of debt when Farhad Moshiri took it. So in terms of FFP rules, we were naught. So we were allowed to spend that money. What Everton didn't do, or what Farhad Moshiri didn't realise, was the first year was fine because John Stones went for 50 million, and Everton spent about 50 million in the first summer. So we were still at naught. So the second summer was our Newcastle spend now. Yeah. So we just went bump, and it's what kids in a sweet shop. And then a year later, we spent that as well, but we still had Romelu Lukaku money. So it took a couple of years. But the problem, John Blaine said this with Everton, wasn't just we're going to dump 100 million on players this month, or this window. It was, we were saying to players, you're on 40 grand, we will give you 110, 120 to come here. That was where Everton fucked up, because you don't, I still don't do it, and until I stop and go, hang on a sec. You buy a footballer now for £30 million. We bought Onan in the summer for £30 million, right? If he's not on this much, but if he was on 100 grand a week and he signs a 5-year deal, there's another 25 million on top of it. So the 30 million transfer costs you 55 million, really. That money comes out of your club. End of story. Yeah. And Everton have got too many players who have not contributed on that money. We've still got it now. Michael Keane's probably on
70.
If I think he's on more with the extension, but say he's on 75 grand a week, he's not playing. Doesn't play. Yerry Mina, love him, best defender at the club. If he's fit, big money. Mason Holgate signed a new deal, probably 70 grand a week, doesn't play. And these players are earning more money than players at other clubs who play every single week.
And that's why no one wants to take them off our hands.
And even in Europe, there'd be players in Europe who are unbelievable footballers, and they're nowhere near on that much money. And that's where Everton have been killed. And that's where the likes of Newcastle, and I'm sure they are being, need to be sensible. But this was the thing with Chelsea. This got said last night. It was like the likes of Mudryk signed him on an 8.5-year deal. They've given him crazy wages. Can't get out that contract. He kept going on about Bogart, going, well, if Mudryk doesn't do well,
they must have. But also they reckon that the reason why, one of the reasons why they have given them those contracts is because it's going to be brought in soon that the minimum contract's 5 years. So that's one of the reasons. Maximum said they can't do that anymore, and that will help with the FFP and stuff. So that's why they've done it. But
when's the regulators?
No, it's you going back to the original question. Everton clearly need more expertise on the board. They clearly need people who think outside the box, people who don't think. To be honest, we need people from the American game, because they understand how to maximise profits on a match day and on a stadium as well. This is the other thing about the stadium. It's all well and good saying we're having a new stadium, but if you don't have the people to maximise the profits from it, like we've said for years, what you doing on match day, what time you're opening on a match day, what time you're closing on a match day, what are you offering people? Are you offering them to stay after the game? Chelsea have started doing that. Ted. Stay for if it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Well, don't go to boozer. Stay here and watch the R5 game. And this is something. I know this is something because I know. Talking to Everton in Kansas, and this is something they have, and we've seen it when we were in Minnesota, having your own bar. People going in the bar and sticking around after the game and saying, well, you know what, if rather than just getting off and going over the road to the pub, stay here and look at these facilities that we've got and grab a beer or grab a coffee, get something to eat, have a meal after the match, sit down and have your tea here. Don't worry about that traffic. Sit here and have your tea. Don't worry about rushing home. It's only, it's 5 o'clock. Have your tea here and then go home. These are the things that Everton have got to get better at. Or after the game, go downstairs, go to the museum. There's going to be former players there now because they've been at the match or whatever, or all these, and that's where these Americans are amazing at this kind of things, maximising the stadium experience, and maybe that's what these people could help with. And listen, if it helps take it off Moshiri's toes in terms of finishing the stadium off and getting it finished to the spec that we've been promised, then I'm sure that's where it'll go. And if that means that money haven't in turn, that means that, which will either way, that means money hopefully will go into the first team to buy players. So
that's the most important thing, isn't it?
If you want to watch the rest of this video, then make sure you join Toffee TV Premier, when you can get access to all our exclusive shows, including live daily videos. Click the QR code on the screen here.